You are being called to face a major court case tied to illegal activities, and the message you are reading is urgent because it comes from heaven itself and is meant for you alone. And if you believe in angels, you must pay attention, because this is no normal day and no normal warning, and what you are about to hear is not a dream or rumor but a direct call from Archangel Michael, who has come with urgency and concern to tell you that the ground is shifting under your feet and a case is unfolding that shakes truth and justice at their core, and somehow your name has entered into this storm not by chance but because it was meant to be. And you may feel shock, fear or disbelief, but this is not the time to run, hide or deny, because the case involves secret actions hidden from the light surrounding a celebrity whose fame has long covered their wrongdoing, and now everything is being brought into the open, and you have been drawn in as a witness or participant to stand for truth and justice. And Michael warns you to take this seriously, because your choices now will echo through the rest of your life, and the forces of darkness are moving quickly, but so are the armies of heaven. And you are not alone, because Michael stands beside you, armed with a sword of light and a shield of protection, ready to guide you if you choose truth. And this is your chance to rise above fear and become an active part of this moment where justice will be revealed and lies will be broken. And you must prepare your mind, heart and spirit, because your name is a banner of light, and God says this is no test, no game, and the case will shake foundations. Protect the innocent, expose the guilty, and your role is essential. So do not run and do not doubt, because although this will change your life in ways you never imagined, you will come through stronger and brighter if you stand with God, who says the time is now and the summons is coming. And Michael surrounds you even now as his sword cuts away fear, and his presence shields you. And this message is a signal that the moment you have been prepared for has arrived, and you cannot ignore it, because what is coming will touch not just your life but your destiny. And the plan is bigger than you and involves powers far beyond your control, and yet you are called to stand before the highest court, where truth will burn away all shadows. And you must not hide from this trial, because every battle you have fought has led you to this moment. And though the enemy is clever and the trap is wide, God is with you, and Michael is fighting for you. And your role is to awaken your inner strength, speak truth, and not feed the darkness with silence or lies. And time is running out, because the eyes of the world will be on you. And this trial is not to destroy you but to deliver you, and it will open the next chapter of your life written with courage and faith. And though fear will tempt you, you must transform it into strength and hold on to God's protection while the angels guard every step you take. And remember that this is not just legal but spiritual, and how you answer will reveal your true self. So when the court calls, be ready to face hard questions with honesty, because allies and enemies will appear, and only prayer and discernment will show you whom to trust. And Michael has already begun breaking the chains of deceit and lifting the veil, and your moment of reckoning is close. So prepare yourself to stand without shame in the light, and remember that God says this is for your good, and your name is called not to condemn but to raise you higher, even if the path is hard. And this is a new beginning, born from the ashes of what must fall. And Michael's voice is urgent, because he loves you and wants you to survive and thrive. So awaken now and stand strong, and take every word of this warning to heart, because it is from God and cannot be dismissed. And you are being called not by rumor but by truth, and the case is already in motion in both the spiritual and earthly realms, and it involves a celebrity admired by many but hiding deep corruption. And your name's presence in the case may shake you, but the heavens want you to prepare and rise above the challenge with courage, because unseen forces have been weaving this moment for years, and though you may not have seen the shadow, it has been there, and now light is breaking through, and Michael's sword is ready to cut away lies, not to harm you but to protect you. So do not waste this chance, because the decisions you make now matter more than you think, and while you may not yet understand why you are involved, you will see that your part is vital, and God has placed you here to influence not just your own future but the lives of many. And the celebrity in question is not just one person but a symbol of corruption that has hurt countless people. And Michael warns you to stay alert and not let fear swallow you, but instead let faith lift you, because the angels are watching, and the court of man is one thing but the court of heaven is eternal, and you must speak only truth and act with integrity, because your words and actions will shape what comes next, and some will come to help and others will try to deceive. So trust the signs God sends you and lean on those whose faith is strong, and know that in the unseen world the battle has already started and the falsehoods are being exposed, and you must be ready to walk forward into this with no fear, knowing that this trial is a gateway to freedom. And God says, even if you feel overwhelmed, trust His plan, because your name is called to be cleansed and raised up, and you are to prepare in spirit by letting go of grudges, lies and guilt, and to seek forgiveness where needed and give it freely. And remember, this is as much about the soul as it is about law, and though the enemy may think you are weak, God sees the warrior in you, and you have fought before and won, and you will again, because you are not alone, and heaven's army surrounds you, and fear is the enemy's strongest weapon. So do not give it power, but fill your heart with God's promises, and call on the angels to give you courage, and know that what feels like loss will become gain, and what seems like an ending will open to blessings you never imagined. And this is your breakthrough, and the story you tell after this will inspire others who face injustice, and the weight you feel now will lift as you see God's hand working. And though the storm will rage, you will stand in peace, because Michael will not leave your side, and no earthly force can break the shield around you. And you are called to be a light through this darkness, and to show faith openly, because your stand will prove that no plot, no accusation, and no trial can block God's plan. And you are chosen for this, because God trusts your faith, and though the case will test you, it will also refine you like gold. And those who doubted you will see the truth, and those who betrayed you will be revealed, and help will come from places you never expected, and through prayer you will receive wisdom, patience and peace. And even in your hardest moments you will not be abandoned, because God's justice is perfect and His mercy is unending. And Michael whispers to your soul not to be afraid, and to remember that you are safe, and that the end of this trial will be a new beginning greater than you can imagine. And what once looked like a threat will become your testimony, and what felt like danger will become your victory. And you are surrounded by divine love and guarded by power that cannot be broken, and nothing will go wrong, because you are in the hands of God. So take this moment now to breathe and feel His presence and Michael's protection, and know that you are ready, chosen and equipped, and that this battle is already being won in heaven and will be won on earth. And your only task is to trust God, pray without ceasing, and stand firm until victory comes. And as you hear these words, understand that the clock of heaven is already counting down, and the summons is drawing closer with each passing moment, because the papers are being prepared, the names are being written, and the truth is being gathered like evidence from both the physical and spiritual realms. And you are not to take this lightly, because once the call comes there will be no time left for hesitation or doubt, and every choice you make between now and then will prepare or weaken you. And God wants you prepared, because the storm that is coming will test more than your patience. It will test your faith, your courage, and your willingness to stand in the light when the shadows try to pull you back. This is why the signs have been appearing around you. Dreams that feel too real, moments that give you chills, sudden feelings of being watched, unexpected messages or encounters that make no sense at the time but now are beginning to fit together like pieces of a puzzle. These are not coincidences. They are the quiet warnings of heaven urging you to get ready. Michael says the enemy will try to twist the narrative, to make you doubt your own memory, your own truth, and your own worth. They will send people to confuse you, distract you, and tempt you into silence or compromise. But you cannot bend, not now, not when you have been chosen to stand for justice. You must anchor yourself in prayer every morning before the sun rises and every night before you rest, because in these prayers your spirit will grow sharper and your discernment stronger, and you will begin to see clearly who speaks truth and who hides deceit. There will be offers that seem like help but are traps. There will be moments where you feel the pressure to act quickly, but remember this: rushed decisions are often the enemy's weapon. Wait for God's direction before you move. The days ahead will not be easy, but neither are they hopeless. Every trial is a doorway to a greater promise, and you are being led to a place of breakthrough, not defeat. When you stand in that court, whether it is before human judges or the unseen tribunal of heaven, know that your voice carries weight far beyond what your mind can measure, because when you speak truth, angels move, chains break, and lies collapse under the weight of God's justice. You may feel small in the eyes of the powerful, but to God you are a giant in this battle, because your obedience carries a force that no army of men can match. Michael says to guard your thoughts as carefully as you guard your words, because the enemy will plant seeds of fear, self-doubt, and despair if you give him even a moment. Cast those thoughts out immediately and replace them with the promises of God, promises that you are never abandoned, promises that your steps are ordered, promises that no weapon formed against you shall succeed. And when you feel overwhelmed, speak these truths out loud, because the sound of your faith shakes the darkness. This case will be more than news headlines or whispered rumors. It will be a revelation that exposes the hidden and frees the oppressed, and your role in it is not by mistake. Your past struggles have trained you for this exact moment, even the parts you thought were wasted pain. God wastes nothing. Every tear, every battle, every betrayal you endured has strengthened you to withstand the pressure of what's ahead. The celebrity at the center of this storm is not the only target. There are entire networks of corruption behind them, and God is using this moment to pull down their walls. The truth will come like a flood, unstoppable and undeniable, and your name will stand as a marker of courage in the record of this case. But courage is not the absence of fear, it is the choice to stand even when fear whispers that you should run. The heavens are already moving on your behalf. Angels are being assigned to guard your steps, to close the mouths of liars, to open the doors that need opening, and to hold back harm from reaching you. But you must also do your part. Keep your heart clean from bitterness. Do not let anger become your driving force, because anger blinds, but truth and love sharpen the vision. Seek wise counsel from those grounded in faith. Keep your plans close to your chest and do not overshare with those you do not fully trust. There are ears listening for ways to twist your words, and one careless sentence could be turned into a weapon. Remember that silence is not weakness, it is strategy when guided by God. Michael says there will be a point when the pressure peaks, when the enemy throws everything at you to make you break, and this will be the turning point. If you endure that moment without falling into fear or compromise, the tide will turn, the truth will rise, and the enemy will lose his grip entirely. That is when you will begin to see the deliverance you have been promised. In that moment, you will understand why this message came, why the warnings were urgent, and why you were chosen. God's ways are higher than ours, and sometimes the path to victory looks like the path through the fire, but He will walk through it with you and you will come out without the smell of smoke on your clothes. This trial will not only clear your name but will set a precedent that will protect others for years to come. What is done in your case will ripple out into the lives of many you may never meet, but whose freedom will be tied to your stand for truth. And in the end, when the papers are signed, when the court is adjourned, and when the headlines fade, you will stand in the quiet knowing that you fulfilled the role heaven gave you. You will see how every detail was guided, how every danger was blocked, how every lie was dismantled piece by piece, and you will give glory to the one who carried you through. For now, your task is to stay alert, stay prayerful, and stay unshaken. The battle is already leaning in your favor, but your faith will finish it. Hold the line, beloved. Michael has his sword raised, and heaven is watching. And as this message reaches deeper into your spirit, understand that heaven is not calling you to survive this moment but to rise through it, because survival is what the world expects from you. But victory is what God has already written in His plan, and this victory will not be quiet or hidden. It will be seen by those who doubted you and by those who prayed for you, and it will silence the voices that tried to speak against your name. Michael says the road ahead may still hold twists and delays, but every delay will be turned into an advantage for you, giving you more time to prepare, more time to gather strength, and more time to align your steps with divine timing. You will notice how certain people will remove themselves from your life without you having to push them out. This is God's way of clearing the path so you are not slowed down by those whose hearts do not match your mission. Some will pretend to be allies until the moment you need them most, but do not be shaken when they step back, because the true warriors God is sending will not abandon you in the heat of battle. These are people who will pray for you in silence, who will show up when no one else does, and whose loyalty cannot be bought or shaken by fear. Listen closely to the quiet promptings you feel in your heart, for these are often the whispers of the Spirit guiding you away from danger and toward safety. There will be moments when the evidence seems against you, when the rumors grow louder, and when the pressure feels like it will crush you. But remember, a seed must be buried in darkness before it breaks through the soil, and you are in that breaking through season right now. You will come to see that even the unfair attacks were used by God to expose the true nature of those who launched them, and their downfall will come not by your hand, but by the weight of their own lies collapsing upon them. The celebrity connected to this storm may try to shift the attention, to make the story about anything except the truth, but heaven's light is too strong to be dimmed, and no matter how they spin it, the facts will rise like the sun. The night cannot stop the dawn, and the dawn is already breaking. Michael warns you to guard not just your words but your energy, because in the days ahead you will need your strength for key moments, and wasting it on unnecessary battles will only drain you. Save your focus for the turning points, for those are the moments when your actions will carry the most weight. You may feel like you are standing alone, but the spiritual realm is crowded with angels around you, each assigned to a part of your journey, each ready to intervene in ways you may never see but will benefit from. There is a shift coming, one that will feel like the sudden lifting of a heavy burden, and when it comes, you will know that the chapter is closing. Until then, your role is to keep speaking truth with grace, to keep walking forward even when the wind is against you, and to keep your heart free from the bitterness that tries to poison the brave. The day will come when you stand in that courtroom, or in that meeting, or in that place where the decision is made, and you will feel the weight of years lift in an instant. You will walk out with a victory that cannot be taken from you, because it will be sealed not only in human record but in heaven's record. This is the promise. This is why you have endured. And when the papers are closed and the noise fades, you will find yourself standing in a peace so deep it will feel like another world. You will rest in the knowledge that you did not give up when it would have been easier to run, and that you trusted when it would have been simpler to doubt. The impact of this moment will stretch far beyond your life, touching people you will never meet, inspiring them to speak, to stand, to believe that truth is worth the fight. You will look back on this message, on this season, and you will see how heaven was always speaking to you, guiding you, and holding you even in the hours when you felt most abandoned. And you will lift your eyes, knowing that you are not just a survivor of this battle but a living testimony of God's faithfulness. Michael lowers his sword, not in defeat but in completion, for the battle will be won, and the time of warfare will give way to the time of restoration. You will heal, your name will heal, and the wounds you carry will close. And the world will know, not because you shouted it, but because the truth stood on its own. This is the end of the message, but not the end of your story. The rest will be written in the victories yet to come. Stand strong. Heaven is with you. And even after the case is closed and the crowds have moved on, you will see how the ripples of this moment keep moving through time, touching lives you never knew you could reach, because courage is contagious, and the stand you took will awaken courage in others who have been silent for too long. You will begin to receive messages from strangers, people whose names you have never heard, telling you that your story gave them the strength to face their own battles. Some will say they left toxic relationships because they saw you refuse to bow to fear. Others will say they confronted injustice in their workplace, in their community, or in their family because they were reminded that truth is worth the fight. You will see how your obedience became a seed planted in the hearts of many, and those seeds will grow into movements you never planned but that heaven had already designed. There will also be those who once spoke against you who will quietly change their tone, some out of shame, some out of respect, and some out of the simple recognition that they were wrong. Do not waste your energy demanding apologies. God will handle the pride of men, and your reward is not in their words but in the restoration of your peace. There will be moments when you are tempted to retreat completely from the public eye, to shut the door and never speak of these things again, but Michael says there will still be times when heaven will ask you to speak, not to reopen old wounds, but to pass the torch, to guide others who are stepping into their own battles. You will be a lighthouse for the wandering and a shield for the weak, and your presence alone will be a reminder that the storms of life are survivable. And when the quiet years come, when the noise has faded and the world no longer remembers the headlines, you will still walk with the quiet authority of one who has seen the armies of heaven fight on their behalf. In those days, your prayers will carry more weight than you can imagine, for they will be the prayers of a veteran of spiritual war, prayers that move mountains, shift atmospheres, and break chains unseen. The enemy will not forget your victory, and there may be smaller battles ahead, but none will compare to the storm you have already endured. This was your proving ground, and you came through. The crown you wear is invisible to human eyes, but in the realm of heaven it shines brightly, a mark of one who stood firm when it mattered most. So walk forward without fear. Live fully. Love deeply. And remember that the same God who brought you through this battle will guide you through every chapter that remains. You have been tested, you have been refined, and now you are ready for the years of peace that were promised to you from the very beginning. This is not just the end of a trial, it is the beginning of a legacy. And heaven smiles upon you. And as you step into this new chapter, you will notice that your senses are sharper than before, not just your sight and hearing, but the inner awareness of what is true and what is false, what is safe and what is dangerous, what is meant for you and what is sent to distract you. You will find yourself making decisions more quickly, with a confidence that surprises even you, because you have learned to trust that quiet voice that guided you through the fire. This is the fruit of endurance, the ability to walk without hesitation, knowing that the same God who carried you yesterday will carry you today and tomorrow. There will be days of great celebration, where you will look around at the faces of those who stood by you, and you will realize they are more than friends. They are family forged in the heat of battle. You will laugh without fear of who is listening, you will speak without the weight of watching every word, and you will rest without waking in the night to the sound of imagined footsteps. The air will feel lighter, as though the very atmosphere has been cleared of the heaviness that once followed you. But Michael says there will also be quiet days where no one sees the tears you still shed, not tears of sorrow, but tears of gratitude for the unseen hand that carried you through storms you should not have survived. In those moments, heaven will draw near again, not to warn you this time, but to remind you that you are loved beyond measure, and that your worth was never tied to the accusations, the trials, or the opinions of others. And you will finally understand that the greatest victory was not in proving them wrong, but in becoming someone stronger, wiser, and more compassionate than you ever thought possible. The lessons learned in the valley will serve you on the mountaintop. The scars you carry will become your credentials, proof that you have walked through fire and emerged not burned but purified. People will approach you for advice, for comfort, for direction, and you will give freely because you remember what it was like to be desperate for someone who understood. You will not hoard the wisdom you gained, because you will know that wisdom grows when it is shared. And in the years to come, there will be moments when heaven will open small windows for you, divine opportunities to step into rooms where your voice will influence decisions, protect the innocent, and shift the outcome of battles you will never fight personally but will help others win. You may find yourself sitting across the table from leaders, artists, or voices that shape culture, and they will listen to you because they sense the authority that comes from surviving what you have survived. The light in your eyes will be different, steady, unwavering, and fearless, and those who carry darkness will either avoid you or be changed in your presence. Michael says this is not an accident. You were shaped for influence not through ambition, but through survival, through faith, through relentless endurance. And though the path ahead will still have its tests, you will not walk it the same way you once did, because now you walk with the memory of battles already won and the unshakable knowledge that you were never alone. There will be times when you feel a sudden shift in the wind, a sign that change is coming again, but you will not fear it, for you will know that change is not the end but the beginning of the next stage of your destiny. Even in your older years, you will look back on this season with a strange kind of gratitude, because it was here, in the darkest hours, that you learned what it meant to truly live without chains. And when your story is told, whether in books, in whispers, or in the hearts of those you've touched, it will not be remembered only for the hardship, but for the hope that refused to die. And the angels who fought beside you will watch from above, their mission complete, knowing that you carry their victories in your own footsteps. This is how heaven writes history, not with ink that fades, but with lives that shine forever.